Well, my name's Richard Franks and I'm the CEO of NSTA Proprietary Limited. We're an RTO and we're a little bit unique to other RTOs which create certain problems. We franchise all of our training centres, so they're all independently owned. We've got about 46 qualifications on scope, diverse from security, civil construction, general to business services, RSA, firearms training, so a fairly diverse product range. We tried various systems, over a long period of time, since Adventist actually originally came in Queensland. And part of the problem that we're experiencing were some of them were not cloud-based. They weren't cloud-based solutions, and that created a range of problems. We operate from 17 locations, so we needed something that was capable of doing that. There are several other providers that have a cloud-based solution, but that cloud-based solution was dysfunctional. So your learner management system was in Moodle. Something else, your assessment was in another system. So students had to log in and log out to change between platforms. TUTIS had everything in the one platform. Document management system, learner management system, student management system, assessment management, all interfaced together. So it was easier to develop, etc. I actually bought a 307 square metre warehouse for storing all of our student records. Went the old school way, the way we'd been doing it for 20 years. Let's go back to this. And then TUTIS came along and said, you know what, we've got a better service for you. This is what we can do. You don't need to do that. So they demonstrated the system, showed me what to do. 5 years later, I had 307 square metres of office sitting there empty. No records, no paper. Yeah. And that's exactly what we want. Probably they answered the phone. Quite seriously. I phoned nearly every provider I could find, and there was quite a few in the book. Some took messages, never got back to you, etc. So, those sort of things. TUTIS did answer the phone. They did come and see me. We, did have a meeting, and they presented the product. So the personal service went part of the way to give me the confidence to invest in it. And it is an investment. Once you're in with one student management system, it's hard to transfer to another sometimes. It's a bit of work and you don't feel confident in doing that. So I needed that confidence to jump on board. The feature where I could use the mapping function to identify gaps, right? And then write another question or change a question. So that feature just cinched it, and it's come in, for audits and things like that. It's just fantastic. I think TUTIS has changed dramatically since we came on board. The system was a little bit slower. It's now a lot faster. It's more dynamic. It's got a better student interface. So there's been a considerable amount of improvement since we've come on board. But how we use it on a day-to-day basis with 17 independently owned training centres, they all have their own user license, they all log in. And I've got my finger on the pulse instantaneously. I can do reports and see the progress of everything at any time. The biggest results that I've actually seen is the change a couple of years ago to the new student interface. The old student interface looked more like a DOS-based system, and it wasn't very user-friendly. The new student interface now gives the student a better experience. It's got little charts, shows them the status, where they're at, etc. It's a one-stop shop. You don't have to use Moodle, you don't have to use all these other systems, which, despite the inconvenience, to save a few dollars, yeah, you can inconvenience students, but when it comes to audit, you can actually do reporting and see how long each student spent on each assessment, the e-learning activities, etc. So you've got all the results and all the feedback, right there. That is just incredibly interactive. You know, when you're doing observations, you can observe the students working, you can collect the students' signatures, take photos while they're there, and it's all built in, and there's no going back to the office and then uploading all this data. It automatically uploads into the system. I've got total control or feedback from all my franchisees. All of our franchise training centres, I can see what's happening in real time. You know, from student notes, their information, their enrolment forms. So quite often, because we're head office, I'll get a phone call from a regulator and they'll ask a question by a student. I don't have to go phoning people. I can just log in and get access to all the documents and all the information that I need then and there. So that makes me sound more knowledgeable, you know, etc., etc. Doesn't matter where they are. And while I've been away on holidays, I can be in New Zealand or Vanuatu or whatever, I can just log in and answer those questions. So I've got my finger on the pulse at all the time. Passing audits.
Good one.
That's the most. I think being able to give information, like paper-based information, into TUTIS through the document management system. So if I make an amendment now, I don't have to send out emails to everyone saying new version. It's just automatically updated in the system. Next person logs in, they get the latest version. So total version control. We use those for all of our government funding and for all our ASCA and AVITMIS reporting. We have a team that does that, and yeah, it used to be such a nightmare, but it's seamless now. They're an Australian-based support centre, so I can phone them. I've been in there. We get support. So some of our other systems which we've been with, you had to log a ticket, wait 5 days for someone to reply to that ticket, then they didn't understand what the ticket said. There was a whole range of issues. So yes, TUTIS have a system of logging support and everything else for basic stuff, but you can always pick up the phone. You asked me before what was one of the things that saves us time, which time is money, is validation and verification of qualifications. So just saves us time, which improves our bottom line. So TUTIS is working for us.